Georgia is not the kind of place you stumble upon by accident. It's a country where contradictions collide in the most dramatic way possible. Imagine waking up in a land that feels both ancient and untouched, yet somehow modern and restless. Here, mountains rise higher than your imagination, while cities buzz with a rhythm that feels strangely familiar and shockingly foreign at the same time. Happiness and chaos coexist side by side. Families singing in streets late at night, neighbors arguing loudly over politics, and laughter echoing through courtyards that have seen centuries of survival. Georgia is not simply a destination, it's an emotional punch, a cultural clash, a secret that Europe tries to keep hidden. And behind the beauty, there are traditions and truths that will leave you amazed, or maybe even disturbed. Georgia sits at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, but it refuses to fully belong to either. It's a small country, about the size of Ireland, yet its history and cultural weight could fill volumes. With a population of just under 4 million people, Georgia feels both intimate and vast at the same time. Walk through Tbilisi, the capital, and you'll see old wooden balconies hanging over narrow streets, while futuristic glass bridges stretch across the river like something from another world. The Georgian passport may not be the most powerful in the world, but what the country lacks in travel freedom, it makes up for in spirit and resilience. Georgia's economy is not among the wealthiest, but the richness of its people cannot be measured by numbers. The average income may be modest, but hospitality here is priceless. So much so that refusing a toast at a Georgian table is almost a crime. Geographically, Georgia is a land of extremes. To the north, the Caucasus Mountains rise like a natural fortress, their snowy peaks sheltering hidden villages where time seems to stand still. To the west, the Black Sea coast offers subtropical breezes and palm trees that feel almost Mediterranean. And in between, fertile valleys cradle vineyards that have been producing wine for over 8,000 years, making Georgia the birthplace of one of humanity's oldest pleasures. It's a country caught between giants Russia to the north, Turkey and Armenia to the south, but its identity is fiercely its own. Georgia may be small, but it has never been insignificant. If there's one thing Georgians are fiercely proud of, it's their culture, a blend so unique that no neighbor can claim to fully understand it. Let's start with food. Georgian cuisine is not just meals, it's an art form. Dishes like khachapuri, a bread boat filled with melted cheese and a raw egg on top, are both comfort food and national pride. Then there's khinkali, giant dumplings filled with spiced meat and broth, eaten with your hands in a ritual that feels almost sacred. But Georgia's contribution to the world doesn't stop at the dinner table. The country invented its own ancient alphabet, one of only 14 unique scripts in existence. Curvy and elegant, it looks like something out of a fairy tale, and it's still in use today. This script is more than letters, it's a declaration of independence, a cultural fingerprint that sets Georgia apart from the rest of the world. Music is another cornerstone of Georgian identity. Polyphonic, singing, haunting, layered voices that echo like the mountains themselves was recognized by UNESCO as a masterpiece of intangible heritage. Imagine standing in a stone church as 3, 5, or even 10 voices weave together, creating harmonies so raw and powerful they bypass logic and hit you straight in the heart. Symbols matter here too. The grapevine is almost sacred, representing not just wine, but survival, unity, and joy. The cross of St. Nino, tied with grapevine branches, is the symbol of Georgian Christianity, unique, humble, and rooted in tradition. In Georgia, everything speaks. The food, the music, the writing, even the way people raise a glass of wine. Each symbol carries centuries of memory, and together they form a culture that refuses to be forgotten. Georgia feels like a country designed to overwhelm travelers. Every corner hides a contrast so powerful that no postcard could ever capture it. Imagine driving just a few hours and moving from subtropical beaches on the Black Sea to snow-covered peaks that scrape the sky. In most countries, you would need a plane to see such extremes. Here, it's just a road trip. The mountains are perhaps Georgia's most breathtaking treasure. The Caucasus Range is home to peaks higher than Mont Blanc, where tiny stone towers rise from valleys like guardians of forgotten kingdoms. Villages such as Ushkuli, one of the highest settlements in Europe, look like they belong in another era. The silence is broken only by church bells, cowbells, and the howling wind over ancient glaciers. Yet the coast tells a different story. Batumi, on the Black Sea, shines with casinos, neon lights, and palm-lined boulevards. It's a surreal clash. Las Vegas energy mixed with Orthodox churches and old Soviet blocks. For some, it feels chaotic. For others, irresistible. Then there are the hidden gems sulfur baths in Tbilisi, carved monasteries hanging from cliffs, and cave cities like Vardzia, where entire communities once lived underground. For spiritual seekers, the country offers landscapes that feel almost supernatural. Lush valleys covered in vineyards, hills dotted with medieval churches, and skies where the light shifts so dramatically it feels like a theater of the gods. Tourism here is not just about sights, it's about immersion. Travelers don't just visit Georgia, they live it, drinking endless toasts with strangers who instantly become family, hiking trails where legends are whispered, and realizing that this land doesn't just impress, it transforms. Georgia's education system is a mirror of its contradictions. On one hand, literacy is nearly universal, and the thirst for knowledge is deeply rooted in the culture. Children grow up learning poetry, history, and music as naturally as they learn to walk. The universities in Tbilisi attract not only locals, but also students from neighboring countries, eager to study medicine, engineering, and international relations. Education is respected here, yet underfunding and uneven resources often leave schools struggling to keep pace with global standards. The economy follows a similar paradox. On paper, Georgia is considered a developing country with modest GDP per capita. But numbers don't capture the energy you feel on the streets. In the last 2 decades, Georgia has rebranded itself as one of the easiest places to start a business in the post-Soviet world. Bureaucracy has been slashed, corruption drastically reduced, and foreign investment actively encouraged. For entrepreneurs, Georgia feels like a land of possibility. Still, the reality is uneven. While the wine industry and tourism boom bring wealth to some regions, rural areas remain stuck in poverty. Many young Georgians dream of leaving for better wages abroad, often in Europe or the U.S., creating a brain drain that the country struggles to reverse. Salaries can be low, and unemployment remains a pressing challenge. Yet there's resilience. Families pool resources to educate their children, neighbors help each other survive economic shocks, and the entrepreneurial spirit keeps pushing forward. Georgia's economy may not compete with global giants, but it's a land where ambition and creativity often compensate for what statistics fail to show. Daily life in Georgia is full of warmth, but also full of shadows. Walk through a neighborhood in Tbilisi, and you'll hear neighbors greeting each other, families sharing meals that last for hours, and children playing soccer in narrow courtyards. Hospitality is not just a stereotype, it's a survival mechanism. To be Georgian is to treat a stranger like family, to pour wine into their glass and insist on another toast until laughter fills the room. But beneath this charm lies struggle. Alcohol plays a major role in social life, and while wine is a symbol of pride, excessive drinking often turns into a hidden national issue. Depression and loneliness are less openly discussed, but deeply felt, especially among younger generations torn between tradition and modern aspirations. The older generation may cling to conservative values, while the youth dream of freedom, travel, and opportunities abroad. This generational clash can make daily life feel like a quiet battlefield. Inequality is another reality. In the cities, you'll find trendy cafes, tech startups, and modern shopping malls. Travel a few hours into the countryside, and you'll see villages where paved roads vanish, where young people have left, and the elderly tend to land and livestock almost alone. The contrasts are harsh prosperity and poverty existing side by side, often within a single family. Still, Georgians endure. They joke through hardship. They sing through sadness. And they find ways to celebrate even when life gives them little reason to. Everyday life here is both beautiful and brutal, shaped by resilience, tradition, and the quiet fight against invisible struggles. To safety, Georgia surprises most visitors. Despite its turbulent history and geopolitical challenges, the country is often ranked among the safest in the region. Walking through Tbilisi late at night, you'll see families strolling, young people laughing in the streets, and travelers moving around with little fear. Violent crime is rare, and the police presence, strengthened in recent years, has transformed the atmosphere of the cities. For many, Georgia feels safer than parts of Western Europe. But safety isn't just about crime rates, it's about quality of life. And here, the picture is mixed. The air in mountain regions is crisp and pure, while Tbilisi often struggles with pollution and traffic congestion. Healthcare has improved but remains inconsistent, with excellent private clinics available for those who can afford them, and underfunded public hospitals for the rest. Quality of life is also shaped by the pace of daily living. In villages, life is slower, almost meditative, tied to the rhythm of seasons and harvests. In the cities, it's fast, stressful, and sometimes overwhelming. Costs are relatively low compared to Europe, making it attractive for expats and digital nomads, but for locals, low salaries balance out the affordability. Georgia offers security in one sense, but insecurity in another. You may feel safe walking its streets, but uncertain about health care, economic stability, or long-term opportunities. It's a paradox, a country where peace exists on the surface, but questions about the future are always simmering underneath. Georgia is a country full of surprises, many of them completely unexpected. For example, the national perfume is not floral or sweet, it's wine-scented, a tribute to the country's millennia-old obsession with grape culture. The scent is subtle, earthy, and unmistakably Georgian, a reminder that even small things here carry a story. Social customs can be just as unusual. Greetings often involve long toasts with wine, sometimes lasting hours, where every sentence carries a philosophical or historical reflection. It's both charming and overwhelming for outsiders who expect quick hellos. Icebreakers aren't about small talk. They're about sharing your life story, your family, or even a poem you remember. Natural phenomena add another layer of intrigue. In the north, the aurora borealis sometimes dances over the Caucasus peaks, creating surreal nights that look like a painter's dream. In remote villages, centuries-old stone towers still stand, untouched by modern life, where locals believe spirits of ancestors watch over them. Even the food comes with quirks. Churchkela, a candy made by dipping nuts in grape juice, hangs from rooftops drying in the sun, decorating streets in bright colors while also serving as a snack. Every corner of Georgia seems to whisper secrets, from tiny roadside chapels to rivers with legends of dragons and heroes. Here, curiosity isn't just encouraged, it's inevitable. Every day brings something strange, beautiful, or shocking, leaving travelers constantly guessing what they might see next. Those dreaming of moving to Georgia, the reality is a mix of simplicity and bureaucracy. Residency can be obtained through investment, work, or marriage, but the paperwork is surprisingly intricate, often requiring patience and persistence. While the Georgian government has made efforts to attract foreigners, rules can change quickly, and navigating them without a local guide can be daunting. Language is another challenge. Georgian, with its unique alphabet and complex grammar, is not easy to learn. While many young people speak English, Russian is still widely used among older generations. Daily life shopping, banking, renting an apartment, can be simple in cities but complicated in rural areas where English knowledge is limited. Opportunities exist, particularly in tourism, IT, and agriculture. Expats often find that wages are modest compared to Western standards, but the cost of living is also lower. Beyond work, life in Georgia offers a strong sense of community. Neighbors know each other, families stick together, and traditions are respected. Yet, the reality of living in Georgia is not romanticized. Infrastructure outside urban centers can be poor, healthcare inconsistent, and career opportunities limited. Many expats balance their admiration for the culture with the practical challenges of daily life. In the end, Georgia is a country that rewards curiosity and adaptability, but it also tests patience and resilience for anyone who wants to truly call it home. History is a story of resilience against powerful neighbors. For centuries, it has been caught between empires, the Ottoman Empire, Persia, and later the Soviet Union. Its strategic location made it a battleground, yet Georgians preserved their language, culture, and faith. Independence came with joy, but also vulnerability, leaving scars that are still felt today. Modern Georgia faces complex political realities. Relations with Russia remain tense, particularly after the 2008 conflict over South Ossetia and Abkhazia. NATO and Western alliances are seen as both protection and provocation, shaping the country's foreign policy and national identity. Political debates are intense, with passionate citizens engaged in discussions that can get heated even among neighbors and friends. Immigration and illegal crossings remain sensitive topics. Georgia strives to balance openness for tourists and expats with security concerns and legal enforcement. Corruption has decreased over the years, but it lingers in subtle ways, reminding everyone that progress is a continuous struggle. Despite these challenges, Georgia demonstrates remarkable stability. Its democracy is fragile but alive, and citizens take pride in their sovereignty. History is not just in textbooks. It is present in the streets, in monuments, in the way people approach life with vigilance, resilience, and a fierce sense of identity.